What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube space? Welcome back to the channel, and today I have for you guys kind of a how-to slash ball review type video here. The ball we are going to be using today, as you've probably seen in the title, because that's why you clicked it, the brand new Roto Grip Rockstar. Here I'm going to just be showing you how a touring professional tests new balls. Seeing as how this is the newest ball and the type of ball it is, this is the perfect opportunity to show you guys kind of the mental process that someone like me would go through. Obviously, all the players' processes when doing these kind of things are a little bit different because we all have different preferences, different things we like to do with the ball. But I'm just gonna kind of walk you through mine, and hopefully it helps you out. I do know that not everybody, not a lot of people at all really get the opportunity to find out if they like a ball or not, and if they don't like it, just get rid of it and get a different one. I know I am lucky to be in that kind of situation, but just thought this would be a nice kind of way for you guys to maybe learn about your own arsenal. Don't really take it as I'm rubbing it in your face that I can get all these balls, and then if I don't like them, I just get rid of them and get new ones. Hopefully just trying to enlighten you guys on how to see you guys' own arsenal, and hopefully make it make a little more sense for you. But here we go. I've thrown exactly one shot with this Rockstar. I've thrown exactly 0 shots on this lane, the world famous lane 14. So this first one could do anything. But here we go. I'm just gonna kind of throw my regular, I guess, default ball speed rev rate rotation. Rotations really depend on how it just comes off my hand. No clue, considering I'm not the sharpest bowler on planet Earth anymore. But it's just a regular old house shot on regular lane 14. So expect a 7-pin. So like I said, I have thrown this ball once, and it's pretty smooth. As you can see there, very smooth transition. Not really sure what I was expecting out of this ball. So the numbers are very close to Phaze II. I believe it's like 248050 or something like that. 248051. And the cover, Nanostar technology, Nanostar cover stock. So I've been told, I believe it is not like the super full all-out nano like the Optimum Idol, like the Idols are. So maybe just a step down. So it should be a bit cleaner. Because of that, I was kind of expecting it to be a little bit quicker down the lane, but it's really smooth. So for me, that is something that I like to see out of a ball like that. To figure out if you like a ball or if you think it'll fit in your arsenal, you have to kind of categorize them and figure out what situations you're going to use certain balls in. Balls like this, the Rockstar, Optimum Idol, Phaze II, Sublime Focus, those kind of balls, those balls are very important in your bag, those low RG, high diff, strong cover bowling balls, because you are going to get a lot of use out of that kind of bowling ball, especially if you are a tournament bowler, you're bowling on a lot of oil, bowling on patterns. That is a ball that you're going to use 60–70% of the time on a variety of patterns, probably a lot, if not all of them. You'll see that ball at some point. It's kind of your quote-unquote benchmark transition type of ball. So you have to know what your preferences are when seeing a certain shape, especially with this kind of ball. It's very important. Like I said, like you guys probably know, Chris is more of a Phaze II guy. I'm an Optimum Idol guy. It's just because we like to see different things happening with the ball as it relates to how we like to affect the ball. For me, I see the front part of the lane a lot more, which doesn't make sense to most people why I like the Optimum Idol, but I also have a very aggressive hand. I like to be aggressive with it. So that slower transition down the lane compared to a ball like the Phaze II is a reason why I like it. And vice versa, Chris, having no thumb is a factor as well. It affects the ball a little bit differently. They typically like to get the balls through the lane a little bit cleaner, not having a thumb hole. But he's so good with his hand that he doesn't really like to see the ball dig too much to the front part of the lane, and he can control the back end very well. Hence why Phaze II is very good, very versatile for him. He could throw that thing anywhere, anytime. If there's any shot of importance, it's a very high probability he's throwing a Phaze II. And that's just the difference between him and I. My long-winded explanation, personal preference is a big thing. Just because I may or may not end up really liking this ball for my 6-ball arsenal or whatever arsenal, doesn't mean you will. Or if I don't like it, it means you might. That is why they make a bunch of these balls kind of in the same gap. Sublime Focus Phase II, this ball. Then they throw in ones like Summit Ascent with a weaker cover. It's just to fit the same gap for different people. I don't want to sound like a ball salesman. I'm gonna do my best not to sound like a ball salesman. But knowing that it's a cleaner blend, a slightly cleaner blend, the one issue I had with the Alpha Midal, couldn't move super far left with it because it was so diggy in the front. But I liked the fact that it was slow down lane. This one, a little cleaner through the front. Obviously, you know HP lane's a little bit higher friction. If you're a regular here, you know that. If you don't, now you know. That is getting through the front part of the lane so well for what it is. But the transition's not super quick. Typically when you see a ball cleaner through the front, that means it's storing energy, but this one is just transitioning so slow. And for a player like me, or if you're someone out there who likes to be very aggressive with their hand, that is something you like to see, all right? Layout, 5 1/4 by 5 by 3, just kind of my standard pin-up layout, my test layout. I'm gonna try and move a little bit left and get on one a little bit harder, see if we get it to keep going, if it's still a smooth transition, if it hooks and stops and goes forward. We'll find out. This is part of the testing process. So a little bit left. About what I expected. I like that the transition stayed very smooth. It went a little bit forward. That's probably about the extent to which this ball could be thrown. In this certain situation, typically, I'm not whipping this kind of ball out on a house shot. I would use it when I'm bowling on a pattern, a little more oil, yada, yada, yada. But with that being said, I'm just looking at how the ball is shaping in that middle part of the lane. That's how I kind of figure out which balls I like and which ones I don't. So it's what the ball's doing in the front part of the lane and what the ball does exiting the pattern. And all of that happens on the last half of the lane is a product of what's happening in the first half of the lane. This one's feeling a little unicornish to me, and you know, a good kind of unicorn. We like unicorns. Cleaner, slower transition. Now I'm gonna move right, throw one a little harder, roll one, see what we get there. How I like to test these new balls is like I'll move around the whole lane. House shots make it in a way a little bit tougher and a little bit easier. A little bit tougher in the way that I kind of lose half the lane, most of the lane to the right, because I hook it kind of a good amount, but in a good way that it's really easy to throw strikes. But here we go. This is 10 right of where I threw that last one. I'm gonna throw it significantly harder, and it's gonna be a little bit more of a roll. It's like clockwork on this lane. I count blower sevens like that. Those are pretty much strikes on lane 14. But as you can see there, got decently well through the front part of the lane and still maintain that smooth transition. I now have a good idea of what this ball is for me. How many shots have I thrown? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've thrown 5 total shots, and I have already a very good idea of what this ball is for me. What it is for me is the next tournament I bowl is it's gonna be in the bag. That sounded very salesman-like. I'm sorry. I didn't like that about me, but this is what I like. This is what I like a lot. Now, will Chris and Darren like it? I don't know. I think Chris will. Darren, I'm not quite sure. I think Darren likes to see a little bit more of a transition speed, a little bit quicker of a transition speed from a ball like this, because he'll play a little bit further left because of his lower ball speed. He throws Phase IIs from further left than most people do. So with this one, it feels like lengthwise, it's similar to Phase II, but the transition's not quite as quick. May or may not like it, but this is, when I say this is a me ball, you guys have seen my videos, this is a me ball. I'm just gonna go left a little bit further than that one we were furthest left and see if we can get to keep going. Yeah, there's not a lot of times, personally, I like to see balls transition super quick because typically I feel like I can make them go So off of that one, we were the furthest left. We're gonna go another like 5. Puts us like up here. Lots of rotation. And that's okay. That's okay. I didn't really expect that one to be striking. I'm actually pretty happy that that hit the pocket. That was, like I said, 5 further left, a little more rotation. And it just maintains that smooth shape. This to me feels like the consummate control piece. And I feel like that's really what we do get out of these Roto Grip balls for some odd reason. It's just very strange because they're all poured in the same plant, but you think about, obviously the idles, very smooth, big control piece. The TNT, the original one, very smooth, which was our last solid low RG high diff ball from Roto Grip. And then we had the Optimum after that. And now we got this ball, which I like it. I like it a lot. God, I don't want to sound like a salesman. Let me know down in the comments, am I the ball review guy now? Is this video making me the ball review guy? Okay, the last part of the test here. Now I figured out what shape I'm getting from the ball, what I can kind of relate this ball to as far as what other balls have come out, which is something I really like to do because it helps me fall back on knowing what this ball wants to do. I have a Phaze II. If you guys have watched the channel, you guys have seen this one already. Phaze II from the GOAT video challenge. Similar layout, 5 1/4 by 5 by 2 3/4. So a 1/4 inch different buffer. In the grand scheme of things, I don't know why I switch it up from 2 3/4 to 3. Doesn't really affect that much. I think it's just how I'm feeling that day, but I'm gonna stand kind of in that normal, where I threw the normal first shot, and we're gonna see the difference in the transition, if there is any. So, even though that was left, obviously I've thrown that Phaze II, so I know what it's going to do. And instantly off the rip, when I threw the Rockstar, I knew that it was a much slower transition compared to the Phaze II. And that would pretty much conclude my testing. I know what I've got here. I've got very similar hook potential, very similar length with the Phaze II and the Rockstar, but the transition's just a little bit different. Rockstar, much slower, smoother, much more of my cup of tea. Phaze II has not always been my cup of tea because it is a little bit quick like that. So when I jump on one a little bit, the penalty just seemed a little bit greater for me with the Phaze II. Not to say I haven't had success with the Phaze II. Phaze II helped me make a show once in Lubbock, if you guys saw that one, 2019. Although on the TV show I threw an idle, so kind of tells you. I think I balled down from the idle to the Phaze II because it was a little bit quicker. So that's all I got for you guys. That was my very short test of the Roto Grip Rockstar. And that's kind of my process going through testing balls and seeing if I like it, if I don't. I'm gonna figure out what category this ball's supposed to fit. I'm gonna throw it, I'm gonna see what it does, and then I'm gonna figure out how I would throw it, in what situations I would throw it. And sometimes even maybe brainstorm what kind of different layouts would be good for this ball to get it to work in different situations. But all this stuff, most of it should be done by your pro shop operator for most people. Obviously for me, I'm a bowler and a pro shop operator, but if you guys are in the Columbus area, come in TV Bowling Supply, I can get you guys set up with all this kind of information. That is no problem. That is what I do. That is what I love to do. I want to get the correct bowling balls in your hands. It might be the Rockstar. It might not be the Rockstar. It might be the Phaze II. It might be the Sublime Focus. Who knows? But that is it, guys. That is how I test new bowling balls. If you guys like the way this Rockstar looked, just like I did, and you're not in the Columbus area, tvbowlingsupply.com, links down in the description below. Check it out, please. We would greatly appreciate it. If you are in the Columbus area, like I said, come in. See me here at HP Lanes on Mondays and Wednesdays, or over at Holiday on every other day that's not Sunday, and I will get you together. But that is it, guys. If you guys like the jersey, of course, as always, efx.co, links down in the description below. Use code MITA or CHVI for 10% off at checkout. Rockstar. I'm gonna end you guys off with one more. I want to sing like every time I see this ball, I think of the Post Malone song, but I can't sing it because it's got a lot of bad words in it. But For those of you that know, you know. For those of you that don't, if you're age appropriate, find out. If you're not, don't. So this is the Roto Grip Rockstar. And that shot was pretty awful. Now I'm gonna make this video longer. I'm gonna have to throw another one. Other than the blower 7, that's the first shot that hasn't struck with that ball. Spare shooter. All right, take 2 of the outro. Rockstar by Roto Grip. There you go. And I'll see you in the next one.